Hey, we are back, and this is drastically different, especially from the last, it's seemingly 20 episodes. But we have no Bender, no Badger, and one flop.
Hey!
It's been so long. People thought
party people.
People thought that you thought that you had left me. That's what we get.
This whole time I have been contemplating that act.
The chat rooms are all about you leaving me.
Chat rooms, please.
All over the social message boards. But it is just you and I, and so I figured, this was the one chance that we got to do this episode.
It's your one chance, Fancy.
Yeah, don't let me down.
down.
It's the one chance we got to do this episode because we're leaving town this weekend.
Yes, and it's after once. Right now, it's already busy. We're jam packed. Really have no time for anything, not even sleep.
Yeah, we barely have that. Yeah, so I thought, and we couldn't do last night because of things, and so the guys, I was like, hey, I won't even call them. I'll get my wife back on. We'll do this episode. And everybody's got their thing. Bender's like me. He likes comics. He likes movies. He likes comedy. But Badger is musicals and Bruce Springsteen.
Hockey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And hockey.
Oh my God.
And hockey. I forgot about hockey. And then I'm across the gamut of everything. But
I'm all about everything.
But if there was one thing that you are into and dig, it's this time of year.
Faux show. I got this shit on lock.
And it is our annual Halloween stuff. And you were not able to set in with Shilling this past week.
No.
Which we are going to serve that as part one of our Halloween special. And part two is it's the flop only. It's Missy's scary stories about Halloween.
Hey.
Not even scary stories per se, but why my wife loves Halloween so much. So we're going to get right into it.
Okay.
And what is it about Halloween that Mitch, and I'm telling you this, I can tell people that you are amped up every year. As soon as the calendar hits September, you're like, ooh, it's almost scary movie time.
Yeah, and I really want to decorate outside, the house. September, I want to start watching scary movies. But I hold off because October, that is the month. There is just something about the essence of October where you have to that's when you should really watch your scary movies. I can watch scary movies all year round, but there's just something about, but there's something about October that really...
And this year, I think we've managed to not necessarily fill your quota because of what you would literally do it all day, every day, but we've watched more scary movies this year than we have in the past few years.
Yeah, but
you're just literally finding a scary movie and putting it on.
I'm trying.
Whether it's B...
Which... B movies are my jam.
You're into them this year.
I've always liked them, but when you find a good one, then you want to find more. But my goal every year is to watch Halloween, and I feel like we don't get to do that.
We're going to start a new tradition that whenever we're done trick-or-treating and being outside, we're going to come in and turn it on and watch it on Halloween night.
Okay.
And we'll get into Halloween, I'm sure, here in a little bit. But there's this year, I think the only thing that we've missed out on this year in terms of the spook season is we haven't caught up on this season of American Horror Story.
We haven't even started which is depressing.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know it was...
I didn't either. I think my brother was like, hey, 5 episodes have already aired.
That was like 2 weeks ago. That was 2 weeks ago.
Right.
We have watched that Eli Roth History of Horror, which has been very good.
Great. Yeah,
very good.
This last episode was my favorite because as we were watching it, and I told you, slashers are, that's my go-to horror movie.
And spoiler alert, that's going to come up in our next segment.
All right, so.
But before we do that, I think one of my favorite things, one of what I loved about Halloween the most growing up, is it's one of my favorite holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was also your mother's.
It was my mom's favorite. And because it was my mom's favorite, we always joked and we say it looked like Walmart threw up on her front lawn because every inflatable ever that she got. But I always had the good costumes as a kid. I was always getting the $100, $200 costumes. And we were not rich.
Damn!
We were not rich, but she was always getting me the movie quality mask.
So you never had the mask with the little string in the back that snapped on your head?
Not after I was like 5. I mean, my mom went all out. I was a ninja, and I had real ninja costumes. And
dang.
And, I mean, regardless of where or what was going on in life for us, and money was never abundant.
Your mom saved up all year.
We were doing Halloween. I mean, when she decided to be a cat one year, she actually got the costume that from the play.
Oh, I was going to say she went and shaved a bunch of cats and glued it on.
No,
her.
but it was like the Cats, the Broadway play Cats, and she got amazing. I mean, she did.
Wow, that's amazing.
everything
I've
for
never.
Halloween.
So, I do love Halloween. I love this time of year, but I can't say it's for the costumes or for dressing up. I do enjoy dressing up. Like,
She loves scary movies too. The last movie we saw together in the theater was when she was real sick, and we were going back up and forth to get her treatments. We stopped in Cape and we watched. I can't think of the name. I think it's 1409. That John Cusack, where the hotel room is haunted. That was the last movie we saw in the theater together. The last real thing she did before she died was because she knew that she wasn't going to make it to Halloween. She put her costume on and went outside just so
I've
people
seen
took
those
pictures
because she passed away on October 10th.
Yeah,
that's right. No.
Yep.
Yeah, October 10th. So I remember seeing the pictures.
So
of her.
And those are like October 7th or 8th.
Yeah,
like she put them on.
Yeah, that's crazy. But there's nothing in my life that has made me think, oh my God, Halloween is my go-to holiday. Like, there's nothing in my life that is just etched in my memory that makes me love the holiday. It's not the holiday, it's the spookiness of the holiday.
You like a good scare.
Right. So I think when I was pregnant with Hayden, you and I went to what you call a spook house. In St. Louis, we call them haunted houses. And what did I do the whole time? Screamed, oh shit, the whole entire time. But had a blast.
And you were pregnant as get out.
No, I wasn't. I was newly pregnant. It's October. I didn't.
Yeah, but I mean, you were pregnant though,
Yeah.
and we, so that's what we did. We took a pregnant woman to the spook house.
So I can't tell you why I love Halloween or why I love horror movies, but I can tell you what I love about horror movies.
Well, so this Eli Roth show. One of the things I liked, we've only saw 3 episodes, and they've all been entertaining. I love these little series. We mentioned it before. History of Comics from Robert Kirkman was on once. They had the sci-fi with I can't remember who. Oh, James Cameron hosted the sci-fi version of this. So now we get Eli Roth's horror version. Yeah. And there was something he said on it when he was talking to Greg Nicotero and Rob Zombie, and he explained why horror movies work so well and why they are so successful when they hit. It's because you're not supposed to be and not allowed to be scared at any point in your life. You're always told, don't be scared. It's not right to be scared. But for the hour and 20 to 2 hours and you're in the theater, it's the one time where you can be scared and allow yourself to be. You don't have
you
to
can
fight.
let your guard down.
Yeah, you don't have to fight against it. The whole job of going in to see that movie is to be scared. And there's multiple ways of doing it. There's the Ouija board, like the possession, like Poltergeist, Exorcist.
Which is probably my least favorite of the horror movies.
Yeah, there's the devil, like Rosemary's Baby. There's a psychological thriller like Hannibal.
Oh, those are probably the psychological thrillers are my least favorite. But I did really enjoy Hannibal,
or not
Silence of the Lambs,
and Hannibal. Hannibal was good as well too. But for the purposes of this next segment,
we're not even haven't even gotten into my first segment.
No. This next segment of
why?
Oh, why? Why the slap?
I was trying to tell you.
Oh,
you
I'm sorry.
me
Go
off.
ahead. I didn't know.
So let me tell you why I love horror movies. Don't you be cutting me off.
I didn't know that's where you were going. You weren't putting out very good road maps.
So let me tell you what I love in horror movies, not scary movies. What I love in horror movies. I love the creep factor, and I don't dislike, but I don't really like the gore factor. It's all right. I mean,
sometimes, depending on how it's used.
Right. If it's too much, nah. I'm not into the psychological stuff. I want it to be creepy as shit.
You like jump scares more than psychological
Right. So
scares.
I want it on the verge of real life, not actual real life. Like The Strangers, that's real life. I want it on the verge of real life. Like a lot of these like slasher movies are on the verge of real life. Serial killers are a thing, but they're not common. So that's like on the verge. I love the grittiness of a movie. The older movies are gritty.
You did.
They're
what was the one we watched that I made you watch? Last House on the Left, or was not that one? It was
Yeah, the Last House on the Left,
the original,
which you fell asleep for and scared the shit out of me.
And I'd seen it when I was a kid, and I thought it was the scariest thing I'd ever saw when I was a kid.
So what the new movies lose for me is with the CGI and the green screen and the HD and all that, it takes away from the creepiness and the grittiness of the old
film up and make it look good.
But I don't think you can do that anymore because even then it just looks manufactured.
Yeah.
Like that grittiness looks
that
manufactured.
old actual film. You like the old film?
Yeah,
for real.
yeah. And just how they're filmed. Like now it's most like still camera. And, some of that stuff is like looks more handheld. Not necessarily a handheld, but it's not like a stationary type camera, like I don't know. I don't know much about camera work. So
Yeah, I mean, because like you're one of your favorites, and we'll get into a little bit. I mean, Halloween they used the Steadicam.
Yeah,
but it was the handheld Steadicam to perfection.
It just didn't look like it was a stationary camera. But that
I think what you're looking for is you don't like the overproduction of them as a whole.
Absolutely.
You like the guerrilla, the way that those true original ones, and we're going to get into a bunch of them here in a little bit. But you liked just like the guerrilla filmmaking of the.
Yes, yeah, that's what gives you kind of the creep factor for me. So, but. That's what I love in horror movies. Like, I maybe it's because I'm older and, the movies I grew up watching when I was younger, the scary movies, maybe it was because I was younger and I was naive and, I hadn't experienced life. So that's why they were scary to me. Or maybe it's because movies now aren't scary.
I think most people would argue the fact that you married me meant you were older and naive as well.
True.
We're going to get into that too. There's going to be spoiler alert after this next segment, the one after that will lead directly into that. You kind of made the point that I was going to make in that one, and I guess we don't need to tease it. You said you love horror movies. You just told us why, but you said before you even got that, you prefaced that conversation with slashers were your favorite.
Yes.
One of the reasons I wanted to go with this topic is because from that aforementioned Eli Roth show, slashers was so big they devoted 2 episodes to it. And I'm with you. I think, although I do like Exorcist and Poltergeist, but those don't scream Halloween to me. Nothing screams Halloween time of the year other than murderers and slashers and those things. And even the dates may change, but like Friday the 13th, that feels Halloween-y more than, say, Exorcist does. Right. So originally I said, let's get into our favorite scary movies of all time, and I think we've done that on a Halloween before. So I was like, well, let's narrow it down. Let's get into your favorite genre, and then let's give our top 6 favorite slasher movies of all time.
All right, I'm going to just say
You don't have to have them in no order.
No, shockingly, I did not put Halloween on there because feel like that's just a given.
Okay,
let's be real. That's just a given. So I went with maybe movies that people may not have heard of or have not seen.
Well, I just wanted your favorite, so you changed the rules on me.
Well,
but that's
I just wanted to kind of mix it up.
Sometimes the co-host can call an audible.
Yeah.
But you need to clear it with me first next time. So let's just start. Let's start. We can spitball back and forth. If one of them comes up on the other's list, we'll scratch them off and cover them at the same time. But no particular order. I want you to kick off with your first one.
All right, so no particular order, which I'm going to put into an order anyway.
Okay.
So for me, Saw. Great movie. I wouldn't call it necessarily... It's a slasher movie because a lot of people die, but it's not a traditional slasher
I think
movie.
The term slasher is when one individual is the killer, or... one or two individuals, and we'll get to cover that, why that's important, and they're literally hands-on murdering them. I think that one's skirting the line.
Well, yeah.
Because he's torturing them and he's giving them a chance. But that first Saw is one of 2 modern masterpieces. And what I consider modern is, I consider the modern horror from Scream on.
Yeah.
And because the golden age was before that.
So this movie came out in 2004. So which is relatively new. It's 14 years old.
Yeah.
But something about how that was filmed and shot I'm going to go back to that grittiness that it's not it doesn't feel new. Maybe it's because it was a new type of horror movie. I think it was a great movie.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
The first time I went to the theater, to see it, and I don't know if it was opening weekend or very shortly after, but I can tell you, it was like when we walked out, you felt like you just saw something the world had never seen, and that was the first saw. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, there's been 1 million since then.
Yeah.
And there's been other ones like Hostel and stuff, which are all
which has
essentially
made me never want to go to foreign countries.
But they're essentially in that, and even like that show pointed out, Eli Roth show pointed out, they coined the term torture porn for that. It is gore. It kicks up the gore factor those movies do. But I'm going to go with one, like we said, not in the right order, but we just mentioned it, which I think was reinvigorated the slasher genre, and probably still to this day maybe one of the greatest meta commentaries on movie making ever made, and that was Scream, the original Scream.
I was going to put that on my list, but I wanted to go with some older things. Most of my list is older movies.
Well, and it was the 90s.
Well, yeah, I mean...
That's old at this point. But it was... Scream is, again, I hate to use the term, but I feel like they don't get their dues, the horror movies. But Scream is a masterpiece of filmmaking.
It really is a great movie. I mean, the twist... I mean, there's just so... I loved it. I worked at the movie theater when that came out, so I saw it. I saw this, the second,
From the twist to how they violated the rules of scary movies and adhered to some of the rules of scary movies, and like we talked about that Steadicam, how Wes Craven followed Drew Barrymore from behind that whole in one single take, her walking through the house talking on the phone.
When we watched that Eli Roth show, who was it that said, when you kill off the most well-known actor right at the beginning of the movie, you don't know where the fuck this movie's going?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
And speaking of what you said about, and even if you watch it today about the way the film looks, Scream is a very different look to it, and that's even from movies at the time. And I don't know, for those that want to basis a comparison. Cape Fear, the remake of Cape Fear with Robert De Niro. I wish I knew more about filmmaking too, because whatever filter or whatever film they use, it's not gritty, but it's not crisp. It's almost like there's a weird tint to it that you can't put your finger on. But it makes it amazing. It's almost
like when you look at pictures from back in the day.
Yeah, it's just different looking.
Yeah,
and it's even if you watch the 8D,
adds to the essence of a horror movie.
It does, but even if you put an HD version of it on, it's just still different looking.
Right.
Yeah, but again, multiple sequels spawned off of it, but just truly, I mean, that to me, that's a 6 out of 6 on the 6. All of these are for me.
Okay,
but that's a very solid. That again, that's. At the time frame, because of all that was going on, I had seen Pulp Fiction and Scream. I was like, people are doing stuff that they've never done before.
Right. So, my next one is... let's go with probably one of my second favorite horror movie of all time.
Uh-oh.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, okay.
You got it on your list? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to knock that off. Nightmare on Elm Street, well, I'll let you get into it, and I'll tell you my take on Nightmare on Elm Street.
What do you want me to say about it?
Well, whatever. I mean, what was it that drew you to that movie?
Well, so my aunt had a sleepover. My aunt used to have me and my brother sleep over because she has kids that are around me and Chris's age.
Yeah, you guys are all very close together.
It was in North County. She lived in an apartment. She was like, let's watch this movie, and it was nothing but a bunch of kids and an adult woman. So we were scared shitless. And I was so, she sent me and my 2 boy cousins out to throw trash out in the apartment complex. And, you always have to walk across the parking lot. And it was, I don't know how late it was, but scared shitless. And my 2 bitch-ass boy cousins ran and left me there by myself. I mean, he really could have killed me. Freddy Krueger really could have killed me, but
were he real? Yes, he could have.
But there was something about that movie where I actually thought that Freddy Krueger was going to get me in my dreams. There was just something that seemed so real about that character and what he did in that movie. I mean, it wasn't in the normal slasher sense where people are alive and in front of you.
Yeah.
He came to you in your dreams and in your your subconscious, and
Well,
that I was like, holy shit, this could actually happen to me. That's not going back to that real life shit like strangers, but
again, like they said on that show, and we keep referencing the show. You really should watch the show. It's very
People
well
do it.
done. It's very well done. But they said what was great about Nightmare on Elm Street for filmmakers is that it took the slasher genre, and what I was going to say, it qualifies as a slasher because he is literally slashing them apart.
Yeah.
But they flipped it on its ear by putting it in a realm to where they can break the rules.
Right.
Because most of your slasher films, with the exception of ones we'll touch on here in a little bit, do try to adhere to real life physics or real life situations. Mm-hmm. Freddy didn't do that.
which normally this doesn't qualify for sci-fi or anything like that, but it wasn't.
It's fantasy.
It's fantasy,
For sure.
which is not normally my.
And I told you my favorite one is the Dream Warriors. That's the third one, and it literally is this fan. I mean, it's got a D&D guy. It's got all kinds of cool stuff in it. The other thing about, well, first off, when I saw Nightmare on Elm Street when I was a kid, it scared the holy shit out of me. Scared me, but people forget, I think, how brutal that first one was because he wasn't as witty and didn't have all the quips, the one-liners like he had turned into in the third, fourth, fifth, whatever. I did like Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I thought that was a good one.
I think with him.
But he was
I think he was more creepy without his one-liners.
No, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
The first one, he was more brutal and scarier because he became a cereal. He became toys. He became even a Saturday morning cartoon. He was a child molester and murderer.
Right.
And he was so, and they ended up.
You could not make that movie now.
Well,
because
they tried.
I know, and they failed because they tried to put their own spin on it.
Yeah, and
but
James Earl Haley's a great actor, but Robert Englund was.
But he's a little guy.
He is a little guy, but that's the thing. Robert Englund, though, what happened is he was so fucking charismatic as Freddy Krueger that writers couldn't help but write witty stuff for him because. The cheese with every line that he delivered was so good. Yeah. And the first one, it was natural, and then they kind of forced it. But not to say that there are not still some good moments in them. And like I said, that New Nightmare where he comes out of the film and he's haunting Nancy, the actress. Yeah. I thought that was a good one, too.
Yeah.
So my next one, since we're talking about classics and very iconic characters, Friday the 13th.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
You mean the original, right? Chapter 1.
Chapter 1, which is also very odd because of what I'm going to say. He literally didn't have anything but the last 20 seconds to do with the first one. Is Jason is easily the most iconic and successful bad guy of all time in movies. I mean, he had 13, 14, 15 films, I think, he starred in. He's... the term for an unstoppable killing machine, like the one that you can't kill, it's a Jason. Oh, you got a Jason character.
Yeah.
So much so that probably one of the things we're going to talk about, the most classic slashing film of all time, they turned him into a Jason because Jason was so damn successful. But I mean that hockey mask didn't even exist till the third film.
Right.
Which it's people forget that. It's so amazing that I mean. Plus Kevin Bacon in the first one, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Right. That is definitely up there, and our girls like that movie too.
The first time they didn't. So
Kaylin still does.
We went to watch it the second year, and they were like, "No, not as much."
Yeah. Well, whatever. So,
what your final thought though? Weighing in on it, what did you think? What was your favorite thing about the original? And
I mean, it's always how you don't really see who the killer is.
Yeah.
And you don't know until the end.
That's a plot twist. I mean, that's out of Scream,
There's, I'm sure, plenty of horror movies out there where you either don't see the killer or there's a plot twist or, that's the kind of stuff that it's just...
And Supreme Tom Savini special effects, who's all over a lot of these movies and stuff. I mean, he's George Romero's sidekick and later director. But your next one.
I am going to go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
All right. Well, that's one of the last three that I have as well. And
Sorry.
No, that's okay. You get into it.
I can go back here.
No, don't do that.
I have a couple others. Just
Stay with it.
Okay.
Stay with it.
So this, for me, when I watched, I don't even remember how old I was when I watched this movie. Probably early teens.
Oh, and that was late. I mean, that movie had been out a while by then.
It came out in 1974.
Yeah, so before we were born.
Right. When I watched this, it was creepy as fuck. And they
Is that CAF?
yeah, they tell you it's a true story or based on a true story or however they
allude
out.
to it.
And just that first scene is so fucking creepy. It's so scary, and that they're in the car and that guy, slashes that other guy in the arm, and they're talking about the head cheese and the whatever they're doing. The
cows, killing the cows.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so horrible. And then just the whole family in Leatherface.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
So I contend that I told you how much Nightmare on Elm Street scared me. Children of the Corn, which we're not going to talk about, kind of scared me as a kid.
Same.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in my opinion, is probably one of the 2 or 3, Exorcist being off the top of my head, scariest things ever filmed.
So you thought The Exorcist was scary?
When I was a kid, yeah, it scared me.
Because that was one of the first. We'll go back, but that was one of the first. I can't remember if Poltergeist or Exorcist was one of my first.
Yeah,
or the first.
I wasn't allowed to watch Exorcist as a kid.
No, my mom was. My mom, I think if I remember correctly, she said, "Let's watch Poltergeist."
Yeah.
Which was, and I handled
it. Was
it.
Exorcist light, but it's still good.
And then The Exorcist, and I think then came Nightmare on Elm Street. But I was scared of, I was a little scared from The Exorcist, but I wasn't like, oh my God.
Well, I was not shielded from very much in life, but literally because of the masturbation scene, my mom was like, I don't think you need to watch this. And so, yeah, that was scary. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just another one of those films where it was like, how like Exorcist and it had all these things in common. Like, it was banned in some places because it was so crazy. But to me, there's no film that encompasses the grit that you're talking about.
Exactly.
More than Texas Chainsaw.
That is
and knowing that they went out in the fucking Texas heat and filmed this, and everybody was struggling to even get it made. They were almost dropping dead of heat exhaustion getting it made.
Right.
And
I mean, can you imagine Leatherface himself? I mean, he was in that fucking mask.
But an amazing note that I never knew, and we were talking. They talked about this again on Eli Roth's show on AMC. No actual murders filmed straight on.
Right. It's insinuated or shown after the fact.
Yeah, you see them.
Like she's being put up on the hook. You don't see it happening. You just see her up.
Yeah,
on the hook.
He's running his chainsaw through someone, but it cuts to the behind him.
Right. I guess that's a good way to heighten someone's imagination. And save money all at the same time.
And like Eli Roth said, he said that he just assumed that he saw every murder because that movie was so well made.
Right.
And you were right. From the very beginning with the guy getting sliced, that's the only real blood and wound that you see. That, but that more than anything creeps me out. When he cuts his arm with that blade, I'm like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah, because there's people like that in the world. They're
they're
crazy.
There. Yeah, they're there.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah. So my next one, I'm going to go ahead and say it because all these on the list there's something special about them to me growing up or something. But this is one that's special to me because of you, and that is in fact Strangers. We've talked about it a couple times because I've never seen a visceral fear reaction from you in a movie more than that film. The two most just honest reactions we ever got. One, because you were pregnant and we tried to watch Paranormal Activity and it made you sick.
Just the motion sickness.
So we left, but it was like very powerful.
Yeah.
And then The Strangers. You watched it once. You tried to watch it a second time. Just won't do it.
I think it was recent, within the last couple months.
Yeah.
We were, up trying to go to sleep. Well, before we went to sleep, we were watching some TV. I'm like, just put it on. And when it got to the very first, where the people were ringing the doorbell, I was like, turn it off.
You said nope.
I can't. I didn't. I knew it would mess with my psyche and my sleep, and I wouldn't be able to
In our family, there's only one better reaction than that when it comes to scary movies, and it's the first time the remake of It came out, and I showed the trailer. We were downstairs. I said, Kaylin, watch this trailer. We can't wait to see this movie.
Oh, my God, she
and
almost pooped her pants.
She goes, is that a clown? I said, yes. She goes, nope. And she ran upstairs and went shut her door.
That was last year. Shockingly, she has now watched the newest
And
It,
she's not as scared of clowns anymore.
which is great because that was an irrational fear.
So let's get to your number 6 of your top 6-pack for this year.
My top 6? Oh, I've only gone through 3, but
No, you haven't. Well, no, because some of them we did together.
oh, so this is the last one?
Well, what have you?
I mean, I got like 8 movies here.
Oh, I said a 6-pack.
I know, but
you bended me.
I got some,
All right, well then shoot through.
All right, April Fool's Day.
The
you
original.
Probably have you seen it?
Oh,
yeah. Is there a remake of it? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
There may be, but if it is, it's not like their original one, which was 1986.
Oh, well then that's what I'm thinking of.
All right. I mean, what if there was one before it? So this movie, for me, I watched this in my adult, like probably late teens, early 20s, and I was the twist at the end. I was just so shocked by that. I was like, that's a great movie. That is just a great movie. So the premise is these people, they go and they have this rental house and they're partying and getting plucked off one by one, you know. And at the very end, it's they hand it to you as it's just an April Fool's prank on one of the people. And I thought that was brilliant.
Yep.
I just thought it was such a great twist. Like, because it was scary. I mean, it wasn't, let me rephrase. It wasn't scary. It was, you know, it was the normal, you know, slasher type film where everyone kept dying.
Yeah.
And it was almost like almost had like a Friday the 13th vibe because it was set in a vacation home on the water. So it kind of had that same kind of feel as Friday the 13th. I enjoyed that movie.
And it was remade in 2008.
Well, it probably sucks.
Yeah, the poster even itself.
Who was in that 2008 remake?
I looked it up. It's no one that I know.
Yeah.
And the poster's even awful because the original poster with the girl standing with her back to you and her hair is a noose. So, I mean, that's a classic poster.
So, let me just tell you, I was at what, I don't know, could have been Blockbuster, could have been a local movie rental place, but that girl with the noose around her neck spoke to me that night.
Well, not around her neck. It's her hair.
Yeah.
It's
that
just cool.
spoke to me. When I saw that, I was like, I have to watch this movie. And I brought it home, and I rented it, brought it home, and watched it, and loved it.
So you before we get to my last one, which just go through, give me the rest of your list, and then we'll get
I have The Hills Have Eyes.
Seems that's I mean that's a family of slashers, but they're kind of mutants, so they're a little bit monstery.
I know, but there's still a slasher-ish vibe.
Yeah,
and goes back to my creep factor.
Very creepy. Yeah, very creepy.
Last House on the Left, which really, people die, but it's not by the hands of all the same people. Like
it's kind of a psychological, But Strangers is the same thing.
Strangers, yeah. VHS. Even though it's not
not a slasher.
It's not a slasher, but multiple people die by the hands of different people. So it kind of has the slasher vibe.
Well, that one's the
it.
most broken rule right there of all of them because it's an anthology of different stories.
Right.
But
still, there's people dying, and I feel like multiple deaths is kind of a slasher. And then my last one is one that I recently watched, and because I love B movies.
Oh boy.
And
you're trying to get me to watch this one, aren't you?
I would watch it again.
All right.
It was just made last year, so it goes against everything I said earlier about new movies, but Terrifier.
Terrifier. What a name. There's not a name that screams 80s.
If you see the word Terrifier, the title Terrifier, and then you see the face that goes with that, you think this is going to be the cheesiest movie I've ever seen.
Never have you been more scared than the Terrifier.
It is cheesy. But it's based on this killer clown, basically, and that's creepy.
Is it terrifying?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I watched...
The mission accomplished, Terrifier.
I watched it during the day while I was working, quote-unquote working.
Yep.
I thought it was great, and there was apparently a movie that was made before it called All Hallows Eve with the same clown character, and I'm dying to watch it, and I can't find it anywhere.
We'll find it. We'll get it.
But-
we'll speak to some people over the weekend that'll find it for us and make
There
it
you
happen.
go. That's my list.
So the last one I had on here, because I was adhering to the rules, Bender, it's the top 6-pack. Arguably the Cadillac of slasher films. I believe it's been referred to that. It's the probably what really kick-started the genre in the late 70s and made it popular. A 6-pack, a 4-star film, a 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. That would be Halloween.
Yes, by far my favorite.
Easily, it was great. It was very well acted. It was very viable characters that made you care about them, and that was and that's why it works so well, because we know that the slasher genre, what's unique to it as far as scary movies go, is you're kind of rooting for the bad guy, because the slasher's a star, and you really just want to see the stereotypical teenagers murdered, because they're
I'm
kind of
never rooting for a slasher.
but you still want to watch it though.
No, I want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not rooting for the slasher.
Yeah.
I'm
But,
always
I mean, but that's-
run,
that's
quit having sex, don't run upstairs.
Kind of
what
the
are you
recipe
doing?
for the slasher is that you have these one-dimensional characters, and Halloween didn't. Halloween had a girl that was very likable, launched her career in
Right. And
Jamie Lee Curtis.
yeah, I mean that wasn't her only horror movie.
And I never put it together either until we watched the show, is that it was her mom who was murdered by Anthony, in Psycho.
Yes,
it was
yes,
Jamie Lee
yes.
Curtis's mom. I forgot that. And again, back to talking about the homages, you pay to people is Scream. They killed the girl in the very first 5 minutes of
Right.
or 10 minutes of Psycho.
Same as
They
Halloween.
did it
yeah.
in Scream,
Yeah.
but
well,
Halloween
I think in
is
Psycho, I think it's not the first 5 minutes.
she's
but
the first person killed though.
Yeah, but it's early on in the movie.
And we also saw that it was 35 different shots to make that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that's
That's
editing.
crazy.
But Halloween though, again, it was not just a good scary movie, a good jump movie, but it was also shot amazing.
Yes.
He was the shape. It was the first film that really made you feel like, all you're seeing is the bad guy from his perspective most of the time, which was creepy. I think it was it and Jaws probably pushed the envelope, like, hey, we don't even have to show the bad guy,
Right.
And it's Michael Myers. It's arguably the second or third most important character ever. I mean, it's Freddy, it's Michael, it's Jason, and I don't even know if there's a fourth on that Mount Rushmore, but those are the three.
No, if there, yeah. Can you imagine if there actually was a Mount Rushmore and they put those 3 faces on it?
Yeah, I don't know who you'd put up there. Would you put Pinhead, Chucky? I mean, it's those
I
three.
feel like those are.
It's the triumphant of horror.
Yeah,
is those
for
guys.
sure.
But I know how much you said you want to watch it every year. I know it's not just your favorite scary movie; it's one of your favorite movies.
Oh yeah.
And that, so because of that, we kind of played a little bit of hooky, and we went and saw the new one.
We did.
The direct sequel, the first true sequel, if you will.
As they're saying.
As that. And it is. I mean, the second one gets, you even brought this up, the second Halloween gets a lot of hate, and undeserved so.
I enjoyed the second one. I do not like the third one.
No, the witching hour is awful.
Stupid. That just, what? I didn't even understand it.
But this one, written by Danny McBride, and I always forget his partner who also directed it, had all we mentioned in this last episode with Tom and me and Mike, the weird pedigree of these guys that are making good spooky movies like Jordan Peele for Get Out and Danny McBride and Seth Rogen is writing stuff like Preacher, which is a little more, I mean, all these comedy guys who are just smart, clever people, man, they're doing good, because this movie was very good.
It was good. And I even remember when you first showed me the preview or the trailer, I was like, you know what? This could go either way. This could be scary, really good, or it could be cheesy.
And they did not do cheesy. I mean, it was not cheesy whatsoever.
No, I don't think if it were cheesy, that wasn't their intention.
But that, I mean, you could have thought they would have done that on purpose, but no,
Yeah.
they made a serious scary movie.
I thought it was great.
But to what you talked about earlier, and I said we'd bring it back up, I wasn't scared.
I wasn't. There were times where I felt anxious, if you will.
I got anxious in one scene, and we won't get too much into it. Let's just say Michael found himself in the car with a character, and that was the most I was like on the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, something's about to go down. But it just, Michael was awesome in it. The way they did Michael, you could tell that McBride and his writing partner really, really loved the character of Michael Myers.
So, one of my biggest problems with the whole Halloween franchise is the look of the mask in every movie. It changes. It's always and before you get to this new true sequel, it gets crazier and crazier, the mask. And I feel like part of me is like, man, that does not look like the original mask, which obviously it can't be. But part of me is like, well, maybe they meant to make it look weathered because it's 40 years old.
I think they did.
But I really wish it looked more authentic to the real one.
I thought it looked good. I thought it looked dirty because it's been in a storage and a trunk, and I liked it. I thought he looked good. But I loved, like I said, they really wanted him to talk. Every other character in the movie wanted
I don't know why they were pushing that, because I don't even know if he's ever talked at all in any of the movies.
He hasn't. But I liked the fact that the psychologist and the psychiatrist and investigative journalists, and I thought it was cool because what it was, they were being driven insane because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. They couldn't figure out what drove him, and they were trying to push him to do it. And him and Jason share this in common. They are just killers. Period. Now, Michael is different because Michael is really between these two films. Let's assume for this conversation and their intent of this movie that no other movies exist. But for these two films, for whatever reason, and we'll never know, he is fixated on one person. But we don't know why.
Yeah. We'll never know why. Because,
but that's what's good about it. And that's why
that's awesome. So, I totally forgot my train of thought.
Well, I thought they did a good job balancing the gore as well. There's some gory spots in it, but it's not so over the top that you're like, ooh, it borders into B movie.
I know what I wanted to say. There's something about Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, and even Freddy, maybe not so much, and serial killers and just really bad people in real life. They're like crazy smart.
Especially in the films. And in real life, I know what you're saying. Even Jeffrey Dahmer, who was insane, he was a smart guy. Yeah,
it's just crazy how smart they are. Like, for the movies,
I think the word people wouldn't like to hear, but it is. I think it's less smart and more driven. And because they're so driven to accomplish what they want, whether it's film or whether it's real life serial killers, they're driven by the need to keep doing it, and that's their desire to keep doing it. Means they'll go by any means necessary to cover it up so people can't find them, so they can keep doing it. And it's that drive that makes them adapt to being smart at what they do.
Well, I see what you're saying, but there has to be a higher level of
it's just
knowledge and thinking.
Yeah, the same way with guys like Tupac and Jim Morrison, people say their IQ was off the charts. They just chose to pursue music.
Right.
These guys choose to pursue murder,
but you can tell that in their artistry. That
there's a fine line between genius and insanity, but what I like in the way they describe Michael in the new film and the old one, the original, is that Michael is not evil. There's no evil in Michael, but Michael is what he is the embodiment of evil.
Right.
He is what evil is. And that's it. That's what drives him. I enjoyed it. There was a little bit, like you said, a little bit of ambiguity at the end. Money's going to determine where they make another one. And this movie shattered records for R-rated movies.
Well, horror movies, right?
Yeah, horror. Well, the R-rated movies.
In general?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was for horror movies. Well, it was the highest grossing horror movie of...
Well, I'll look up why. Let's see. Highest. I know it was the highest grossing horror, but I know ours are hard to get, period. So, here we go. Highest grossing R-rated movies. Ooh. They don't say them.
Ooh. Well, anyway, I thought it was great.
It'll never beat the original, Passion of the Christ. Yeah, but it won't. And then Deadpool is on there, and then the remake of It, Deadpool 2. But I think Halloween is maybe one of the greatest R-rated opening weekends of all time.
I thought it was a really good movie. It was. I'd watch it again, for sure. Like this time next year, when it comes out, it'll be all over whatever movie channel. And
Yeah, now we're going to
and
have to watch them back to back one time.
oh yeah, that'll be good. You know what I thought? So we all see Jamie Lee Curtis with short hair.
Yeah, and then she had long ones.
And she had on a wig or whatever, and I guess they gave her that long hair because her original character had long hair, but it just was weird to me. And did they put glasses on her?
She had
because
glasses,
she's older?
yeah. Well, I mean, I think she wears them in real life, too.
I've never seen her in glasses in real life.
Yeah, in fact, that interview that on Eli Roth thing, she's wearing them.
I don't remember.
So, sans inflation, Halloween opened bigger than all but 10 other Universal releases.
Mm-hmm.
It is the 10th highest rated R opening ever. Here's the other problem with being an R-rated movie. Those fucking 50 Shades movies always get on there because they're R-rated.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, it's the second biggest R-rated horror movie opening of all time.
What was the first?
So Halloween 76 million is only behind the new It, but if you adjust for inflation, Interview with the Vampire is the highest. But in terms
that
of
is
just
a movie that I always want to watch during Halloween.
I know.
Because it's to me it's not a Halloween movie, but it's I guess you put vampires in that Halloween genre.
Yeah.
So I always want to watch it, and I always want to think that at least Kaylin will enjoy it, but I think it's kind of a slow movie that I don't know. It's hard to tell if she would like it or not.
For me, I've seen it, and I don't ever need to sit through it again.
Oh, I would watch it.
I know you would. And
I catch it here and there, parts of it. But.
So it's also the second biggest October opening of all time. Oddly enough, the first biggest is Venom, which was a week before. Mm-hmm. It's also Blumhouse, Jason Blumhouse. It's his biggest movie ever, passing Paranormal Activity 3. And it's the biggest grossing Halloween movie of all time, of this series. Biggest slasher opening. Biggest, and it is the largest opening for a scary movie with a female lead. So that's a weird stat, though. Oh, hey, biggest opening for a movie with a movie period with a 55-plus-year-old woman as a lead. You know what, though?
She's 60.
I'd argue, too, that she's not necessarily the lead. I understand that she's probably the most important female in the movie, but I don't think she has as much screen time as her granddaughter. And she certainly doesn't have as much screen time as even Michael, I don't think.
No.
So,
but we know that she's
a star.
The star.
Her and Michael.
Because everyone knows who she is, whether that be in real life or her character. And we all know that the movie is, even though it's Halloween based on Michael, we know that she is.
Well, all right, let's get down to brass tacks about what this show's all about. That's drinking and telling our opinions on things.
Okay.
Out of 6-pack scale, how many beers does it get?
I'm going to give it a 5.
I'm going to agree with you. It's a 5. I think the original's a 6. I think this is I think this is the best of all the sequels in terms of staying true to it. But yeah, it's a 5.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, I don't remember what we rated. What did you rate the new It?
I don't remember. We just recently watched it, I think twice, didn't we?
Well,
with the girls.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I feel like I need to read the book.
It's drastically different, but on the just film alone.
4.5.
All right, I'm going to give it a 5 too. I was very enjoyable with it. Yeah, no, I like it. I like your 4.5. I think your 4.5.
Something about the floating bodies at the end kind of.
Well, wait till you read the book.
I know, but there's just like.
It's the stuff
unreal.
the stuff that Stephen King that sometimes comes up with. You go, how is this even scary? But it works. It works for Stephen King.
Right. Like Christine. Like, why is a car scary?
Yes.
But it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that was our Halloween take. It was a very good movie. We suggest you see it. We're gonna watch. Can't wait till next year when we shotgun them back to back. That'll be fun.
That will be fun.
That'll be a good Saturday or Sunday for us. But as far as segments go, we don't have any more in terms of the meat of the show, which means it is time to throw it to Missy.
All right. So I don't really have anything, but I will tell people now that you know that I like B movies and I like older horror movies, let me know what movies I should watch.
Hashtag Missy Flicks.
Yeah, hashtag Missy.
MISSY
Flicks.
FLICKS.
I would love to hear everyone's opinions. Don't give me some bullshit. I want some real good,
real scary movies.
B movies, older
Don't Drew
movies.
Barrymore and say Showgirls.
Yeah.
Let's just go with some
Yeah.
scary movies.
Drew Barrymore wasn't in Showgirls.
No, but in Scream, he said, "What's the scariest movie ever made?" And she goes, "Showgirls."
Oh yeah.
She goes, "Did you see it?" Yeah.
So I want to know what I should watch because I'm always looking for good movies that are gonna creep me the hell out.
Yeah. Hey, I do want to talk about something. No, I don't want to talk about it. Well, I'll tell you off the air. Why.
Okay, so also when I was trying to think of movies, I started looking up older movies, and I wrote down just a quick list
These are the ones you want to see.
of movies I want to see. So
Okay.
there's a movie called Maniac. There's an original
Yep.
and a remake. One was 1980, one was 2012.
80s, very infamous as being one of the most controversial films of all time.
I want to watch that one, and then I read the details of the 2012 with what's the Hobbit's name?
Elijah Wood?
Yes, he's in the remake, and I think
Reimagining or whatever
yeah,
it is.
and it's like a shot from his view, basically.
Oh, cool.
So you don't really see him that much. The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've never seen it.
Yep.
Black Christmas.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Happy Birthday to Me.
I remember that. I don't know if I've seen that.
Slumber Party Massacre.
I love that one.
And The Burning.
I don't remember The Burning. I don't remember it's
So
about.
these are movies that I feel like I need to watch.
All right, well, we
If
better start
anyone
working on
else
that.
has something outside of this, please let me know.
Well, for my Throw It to Missy segment, I've got two films that I want to watch too, but these are two films I just watched the trailer for. One would be a real film, The Long Dumb Road. It's got Jason Mantzoukas in it, and you know him. You remember that Sleeping with Other People with Jason Sudeikis and Alison Brie. Mantzoukas is that the husband and wife couple. He's hilarious. The guy's hilarious, and it's essentially a buddy travel flick, a buddy road flick, but they're not friends. Him and the character, it's a kid going to college, driving across country, and he hitchhikes, and they instantly, because he's older and more of a free spirit and a drunk, they become best friends. This tight-wadded kid who wants to be a photographer, but he doesn't know why. It looks hilarious. It's more grounded in reality than like a slapstick. But there's just one.
Is someone dying in it?
No.
Then why are you telling me about this?
But-
This is we're talking about horror movies.
No,
and
this
you
is
wanna
a throw.
tell me-
No, it's Throw It to Missy. It's anything and everything. You know how it works. But he's got one line in it at the end of the trailer that looks great, and that cracked me up. Like I laughed out loud while watching it at my
Did you
show.
LOL for real?
Yeah, he goes, well, kid, let me take that condom off your head because I'm going to blow your brain.
Ew.
Just to open him up to the
I had
world.
a very nasty visual. Yuck.
And then the other is a documentary
I'm in.
that looks awesome. It's called The Bill Murray Stories. And it's all the people. I don't know if you... Yeah, I mean, we've seen it. Bill Murray is famous for just popping up places.
Yeah.
People's wedding. It's a collection of all the people and all the stories and all the things. And, like, they even have some of it on camera. Like... some guy's driving down the road and there's a person with car trouble on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, and it's Bill Murray, and he's ran out of gas.
So he lives in California?
Yes, but he travels everywhere.
But we go to California next year. Maybe we will see him.
We're going to tweet him.
I'm going to break down on the side of the road. Maybe he'll pick us up.
But, you know how he shows up at
Yeah.
random weddings? He showed up, like there's one, and it's these kids that are having their frat party at school, and one guy goes... and he's got his camera out, and he looks up and he goes, fucking Bill Murray's here.
That's crazy.
And he just does that. And the whole thing's about, it's all these stories about Bill Murray, whether they have footage of him. He's not in it other than their footage. It's all the firsthand accounts of it. But the whole theme of the movie is as Pauly D would say, living your best life. And
I think
it's
that's,
just
the situation.
situation.
Yeah.
But it's all about Bill Murray is living life. And this is how he does it.
Yeah.
And maybe one of the coolest guys in the
sure.
world. Yeah.
For
and
sure.
the documentary looks awesome. It's worth checking out.
Well, you had me a documentary,
yeah. And Bill Murray.
but you had me a documentary.
Like Emma Stone says in Zombieland, he really knows how to touch my funny bone.
Well, speaking of, isn't there...
Redoing it with all
Yeah.
the original cast.
Are they redoing it, or is it a sequel?
Sequel with the
yeah.
original cast.
That's going to be
yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's a
What
good
is it?
movie.
there's an anniversary coming up on it, like 20 years. Is
No, not Zombieland. Zombieland's got to be like 10.
10?
If that.
Maybe.
If
I don't
that.
know.
2008, yeah. Since we've been together, it came out.
True. But they're doing it for a anniversary. Maybe it is the 10-year.
Could be, yeah. But that's a classic. That's a very underrated zombie film in terms of just zombie film. But
Well, it's like Shaun of the Dead. It's a comedy horror, whatever genre you put that in.
it's horror.
Horror.
I don't know. I'm just making that up.
That's our
It's
niece.
that's Cora. It's the feminine pronunciation of it. But that's all I had for Throw It to Missy. Do you?
That's all I had
Then
for my segment.
After I add in all the music and the intro, we just nailed it out about scary movies.
Yeah.
Not a lot of jokes. Probably a better episode than Anytime Tom Tells a Joke.
Are you trying to tell me I'm not funny?
No, I'm telling you, we're just interesting.
Oh, maybe.
Conversational. It's good conversation. So we're done.
Rare. We never talk.
I know. I try
Just
not to
kidding.
talk to you. Let's go upstairs, go to bed, and ignore each other.
Okay.
Say bye-bye.
Bye.
And the music will play. Maybe I'll do like Halloween music for this episode. Ooh, cool note. That guy said kill mom is what he was saying. Remember? We saw that? Yeah. And that's it. We're done. The music's playing.